So you've thought about watching One Piece because you've heard so many good things about the show. You do a quick Google search to see how many episodes there are, and oh my god. And then you give up before trying due to the sheer impossible task at hand. But what if I told you it doesn't have to be this way? Let me explain myself. First off, a simple YouTube search and you'll find there are plenty of other videos that do an amazing job explaining the reasons you should watch One Piece. So in this video, I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to focus on the reasons you shouldn't watch One Piece. And not to disprove them, but rather add some more context and suggestions that might change your mind. Let's talk about the most obvious one, the daunting idea of watching 1067 episodes. Assuming you skip the intro and outro, a conservative number is 20 minutes per episode. So multiply that by 1067 and you get a whopping 21,340 minutes, which is 14.8 days of non-stop One Piece. Shouldn't be a problem, right? There's no denying that is an absolutely insane amount of time and effort to spend watching any series. So here's my first suggestion. Aim to watch and finish arcs instead of rushing through until you're burnt out on One Piece. Similar to many other long-running anime series, One Piece has many arcs of varying lengths. For example, take a look at the following image. The first arc, Romance Dawn, is merely 3 episodes, and immediately after that, the Orange Town arc is 5. Doesn't seem as bad, right? There will be much longer arcs later on, but the point is, you can purposely stop at the end of an arc and pick it up again when you're ready to. I think by segmenting your watch time, you can finish a key plot point and take a break, or continue on knowing how much watch time is required for the following arc. It reduces One Piece fatigue, and you dropping the series because the pacing is an issue in particular arcs. Which leads me to the next issue, the pacing. For a show that spans over 1,000 episodes, it's not surprising there are times the pacing can feel quite bad. And if you're like me, I can't stand to continue watching if I don't feel like there's enough progression. My suggestion for these moments is to switch to the manga. Instead of painstakingly watching the rest of the arc, reading the manga can help you get through the arc quicker and gives you a different method of consuming One Piece. Don't get me wrong, I'm a slow reader, and even then it only takes me 5 to 10 minutes at most per chapter, which is a lot quicker than a 20-minute episode. Keep in mind, there are times the manga has added details or animations the anime omits, so you might even see some extra content. Also, they have released a colored version of the manga that looks stunning and creates a unique feeling between the anime and manga. And I know it's obvious, but that's another suggestion. Just read the manga. If you've tried watching the anime and didn't enjoy it, try reading a few chapters of the manga. You might prefer it and never even bother with the anime. I've been addressing issues with the anime, but it doesn't mean everyone should watch it. You'll find a lot of One Piece fans prefer the manga in the first place. So as long as you enjoy the series, I don't think it matters how. Either way, you're getting sucked into the world of One Piece, and that's all that matters. Something else I have seen as a regular complaint are the outdated and silly art style. And to that I say, you're right, but it doesn't remain that way. This show was released in 1999, which explains why it's outdated. And as for the silly part, that's the charm of the show. Okay, I'll be honest, watching One Piece when it first came out, I also thought it was kind of silly looking, but I came to realize the art style was just unique, and because characters and scenes were drawn in a way I'd never seen before, I labeled it as such. I definitely don't see it that way anymore, as I've come to love Oda's style, and it's what makes One Piece so fun. We have to remember it's actually a really funny show, and the silliness kind of adds to it. But as the years have passed, the characters and animation style have adapted with the times. Here is a comparison of Luffy in 1999 and in 2023. You can clearly see the improvements in the drawings and animation, so there's no real way around this. All I can tell you is that the quality of the visuals drastically improves. However, the unique art style is maintained throughout the series. I know I spoke about this before, but if the unique art style is too hard on your eyes and prevents you from getting through the initial episodes, there is always the manga. And keep in mind, the storytelling aside from the visuals is also another way the show manages to hook you in. And that's what we're addressing next. The fact that the story is still ongoing even after you manage to catch up. This will deter anyone from watching the series knowing there is no end in sight. However, in an interview in 2022, Oda, the author of One Piece, stated he plans to finish the series in the next 3 years. Now take that with a grain of salt because he isn't always accurate with his predictions, but for the most part he isn't far off. So in my opinion, it's actually one of the most exciting times to be a One Piece fan, as the Wano arc is just finished and the stage is set for the final arc. But I do acknowledge it's still a long time to get to the finale, but at the very least, you can take comfort in knowing the final arc will be unfolding as you progress through the series. There is an end and it is in sight. So moving on from the visuals, let's talk about the crazy amount of characters in the world of One Piece. I think for some it may be overwhelming to be continually introduced to new characters throughout the different arcs. And again, I understand that concern, but what I think Oda does brilliantly is he doesn't just introduce characters for the sake of it. They are all well thought out and have intricate backstories, so they naturally become memorable to you. And one of my favorite things about One Piece is how you never know whether a character will reappear or not later on in the series. To give you an example, I have to warn you guys, this is a spoiler alert. Skip to 6 minutes and 35 seconds. In the first episode of One Piece, Luffy meets Kobe, and after a brief period, the two go their separate ways. In episode 314, the two finally reunite and Luffy can't even recognize him. That's over 300 episodes before a character reappears. This is just one example of many where this happens in a show, and personally, I love it. It really makes the world of One Piece feel like it's truly alive and ever-changing, not just for Luffy, but for all those he has shared experiences with. And Kobe isn't reunited with Luffy for no reason. It's part of a key plot point, which I won't spoil, you'll just have to watch to find out. Basically, it feels rewarding in One Piece to spend time getting to know characters as you get to witness their growth by reappearing at a later time. I think what I've covered so far are the obvious reasons. Let's talk about a few other points that I don't think are as bad as they seem. Filler episodes and plot reveals. One Piece has 95 filler episodes, which initially sounds like a lot, but if you compare it to the overall amount, it's only 9% of the show. That may still be off-putting for some, as it is a lot of time spent watching episodes that have no bearing on the main story. So just skip them. I mean, try watching a filler episode or two and decide for yourself if you enjoy them or not. The one thing I liked regarding One Piece filler episodes was how they didn't make them episodic. Rather, they tried to create entire filler arcs so there was still that continuity from episode to episode. A quick wiki search and you can find a list of all the filler arcs and decide if you want to watch or skip. And so for that reason, I don't really see filler episodes as a real issue in One Piece. Lastly, like any anime you watch, as the plot unfolds, you develop more and more questions, which is what keeps the show engaging. As the show progresses, you are provided with answers to those questions. That concept is the same in One Piece. The only issue is it takes a lot longer for your questions to be answered. There are 1,000 episodes for a reason, so my only suggestion here is to have patience. There's not much else I can really say, because as much as I believe these lengthy plot reveals is what makes the show so good, others may not have the time or patience to get there. That's why the only respite I can provide you with is to sit back, relax, enjoy the journey, and know your questions will eventually be answered. Oda leaves no stone unturned. So with all that said, hopefully some of your barriers have been addressed and you're ready to dive into the series. Or maybe you watched a few episodes and dropped the series for any of the previous reasons and are now ready to give it another go. Either way, my only aim in this video is to encourage anyone who is thinking of watching One Piece to take the plunge, as I don't think you will regret it. I had a lot of fun making this video. Let me know if you enjoyed watching it. Bye!